Good evening, fight fans, and welcome to the historic Park Theater in Cranston, Rhode Island, and thank you for joining us tonight on Boxing TV. I am Michael Parenti, the voice of CES Boxing, joined once again by my broadcast partner, CES Boxing publicist Mariano Agmi. Mariano, welcome back to the booth tonight.
Thank you. It's only been a few weeks.
Only been a few weeks. We just saw you recently for Winter Brawl. Now we're back for Road Wars 5. We've got 6 exciting bouts tonight, including, Mariano, the long-awaited return of Providence's own Lamont Powell. Now, Lamont Powell, 6-0 record, undefeated, but the elephant in the room tonight, first fight in 3 years and in his second fight in 7 years. Lamont Powell's had a lot of time off. He turns 32 years old tonight, coming into the ring, trying to get that next step forward. So when you take a look at Lamont Powell, you think about the time he's had off and where he is in terms of age, what do we need to see in 2026 from Lamont, and does it begin tonight?
It all starts with activity. He is a fighter who doesn't have a lot of power. He has 2 knockouts and 6 wins. So conditioning is very important for him. He's a guy who needs to move, who needs to outbox others. So he needs to be sharp, and that's why it starts tonight. One good thing about Lamont is that he's got this Gloves Up, Guns Down program, which is a boxing and mentorship program for the youth in Providence. So it keeps him in the gym at least, and he's teaching them how to box. He's in the gym. So he says that that has kept him sharp this whole time.
Powell tonight takes on Rodolfo Puentes from Colombia. That's going to be a real exciting fight. We also have tonight Gianni Ligori from Brantford, Connecticut, making his Rhode Island debut. Now, Gianni Ligori, a very good young prospect from Connecticut, an accomplished high school wrestler, just a tremendous all-around athlete. When you look at him in the ring, you can see he's in great shape. He comes to fight every single time. Had a draw in his first pro fight. Since then has won 4 in a row. What have you seen, Mariano, in the progression of Ligori, who is really climbing the ladder fast? Tonight he's in his first 6-round fight. He's wasting no time.
Absolutely. And he started his career in the Dominican Republic, actually, the 3 first fights in the Dominican Republic. Then he moved out to Florida, and he was training under Stacey McKinley. And I feel like that's where you saw a lot of improvement in his boxing. So he's ready to take off now. He signed with CES last year, one of 3 fighters that were pretty high profile, alongside Tyler McCurry, who was in action last time around, and Will Gilmet, who's also from Rhode Island. So I think his career takes off starting here.
Ligori tonight taking on Deontay Williamson in a 6-round bout, and also just a great feel-good story tonight. Thomas Evans, if you've been with us in the past, you've seen Thomas Evans with CES MMA. Thomas retired in 2020. He's now a patrolman in the state of Rhode Island. Tonight he comes back to the ring, not the cage, for his first and maybe his last pro boxing fight, and he's doing it in honor of the Central Falls Youth Baseball League, which he is a part of, raising money, donating all the proceeds for that. It's just a great story for Thomas Evans. Now, he is working with, on the side here, Peter Manfredo Sr., who was his first coach. He's now training him coming into this fight. What kind of acumen does Manfredo Sr. bring? And in your conversations with Thomas Evans, what can we expect tonight?
Well, you know, Peter Manfredo Sr. has developed, every trainer has a sort of master project, and for him it was his own son, right?
Yes.
He took him very near the top, world title shots. So I think he's learned a lot from Peter Manfredo Sr. as far as boxing, but this guy already knew how to fight, right? It may be his pro debut, but he's had 6 professional fights. I think it was 4 of them in Muay Thai, two of them in MMA with CES MMA. So he knows how to fight.
A lot of guys will tell you fighting's fighting. Once that bell rings, the instincts kick in, and we can maybe expect to see that from Thomas Evans. This is a great fight card. Those are just the tip of the iceberg. Really, we have 6 amazing fights tonight. Please stay with us here on Boxing TV. Don't go anywhere. We're going to bring you all the action. And with that, we're going to send it up to ringside, and our official ring announcer, Adam Palazzo, who's ready to introduce the first fight of the evening. Get his way to the ring from Brockton, Massachusetts, Stephen Davis, Mariano Agmi, Michael Parenti, bringing you all the action here on Boxing TV. Thank you for joining us here. Once again, we're at Road Wars 5 from the beautiful, historic Park Theater in Cranston, Rhode Island. Now, Stephen Davis has been around the block a few times, so to speak. 7-1 record, but a very, very tough competitive fighter, 35 years of age, coming in from Brockton. The last time out was in November at Mohegan Sun, where he lost and went the distance with Carlos Ojeda Perez. Davis is the kind of guy who can play spoiler on any given night, and possibly with an opportunity to do so tonight. One of those tough veteran fighters that's always in the gym, always ready to go. Absolutely.
Only stopped once, Mike. So he can go rounds. He's going to give Axel Lopez a test.
And his opponent making his way to the ring, Axel Lopez.
Axel Lopez making his Rhode Island and his CES debut tonight, coming in from Fall River, Massachusetts. Just 27 years of age, already a 3-0 record. All 3 wins have been by knockout. As we take a quick look here at the tail of the tape, both fighters coming in at the 135-pound weight limit. Lopez last time out was in November also. First-round knockout win over Kerry Williams. That was in Revere, Massachusetts. Now, Lopez fights out of Bernardo Boxing. You see his head trainer, Aaron Bernardo. He himself made his professional boxing debut last month and scored a first-round knockout win. So congratulations to Aaron Bernardo. Lopez coming with a lot of pedigree. Should be a very interesting fight. Let's send it back up to Adam Palazzo with the official introduction.
The following bout is scheduled for 4 rounds in the lightweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the black trunks. He weighed in at 136 pounds. Tonight he fights in his 10th pro fight, hailing from the fighting city of Brockton, Massachusetts. Ladies and gentlemen, Stephen Davis. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the gray and white trunks. He weighed in at 135 pounds. His pro record, perfect. 3 wins, no losses, with all 3 victories coming by way of knockout. Hailing from Viva for Riva, Massachusetts, ladies and gentlemen, Smooth Axel Lopez. The man in charge of the action when the bell rings, Mr. Joey Lapino.
We're ready to get underway with our opening bout here at Road Wars 5. Once again, Michael Parenti joined by Mariano Agmi, the CES boxing publicist, bringing you all the action here on Boxing TV. We thank you for joining us on this beautiful Saturday night, closing in on March. Doesn't feel like spring in New England. They just got whacked with a massive blizzard. More than 30 inches of snow in a lot of areas, including right here in Cranston, Rhode Island as well.
Yeah, Mike, a lot of sore backs with all the shoveling.
Axel Lopez in the black trunks. Rather, Stephen Davis in the black trunks. My apologies. Axel Lopez in the gray trunks with the white trim, making his Rhode Island debut, making his CES boxing debut as well.
And Mike, Axel started his career at welterweight and fought as high as junior middleweight. So it looks like he's kind of finding the right weight class. Today he's fighting at lightweight, so let's see how his body reacts to it, how much energy he has.
Yeah.
He looks good so far.
Lopez, 27 years of age. That's right around the time where fighters typically tend to develop and find the weight class that will suit them for the next few years. A lot of guys, of course, as they get older, if they continue to fight, they go up in weight. A lot of guys don't go backwards, that's for sure.
That's for sure.
Davis, as we mentioned, tough as they come, only stopped 1 time in 9 fights, and actually had a draw in August against Ryan Venable in Massachusetts. Prior to that, he had a little bit of a losing streak, but this is a guy, again, that we mentioned that can come in, he can play the role of spoiler any given night. Nice combinations here by Lopez.
Lopez being very disciplined, working behind the jab, trying to close the distance. And Davis looks like he's pretty tricky. He switches between southpaw and orthodox, tries to set traps and get out of the way.
Just over a minute to go in round 1. This one is scheduled for 4 in the lightweight division. First of 6 here tonight at the Park Theater in Cranston. Also a good test, too, for Lopez, who has not had a lot of rounds under his belt as a pro. He's won all of his fights by knockout. He's gotten through everybody quickly. Nobody has gotten out of the first round against him yet.
Yeah, it's really important to be tested, right? To go a few rounds and kind of see how your conditioning is, how you might respond to some adversity. So it is good to be fighting a guy who's a little bit more durable early in your career.
Appropriate step up, 4 fights into his career. This is the next level you want to compete at. See how you, like you said, how you do against some adversity. Maybe going deeper into a fight if this fight goes 3-4 rounds. How's your cardio hold up? Those are all questions that the Lopez camp wants to answer at some point, and this is a good level to do so.
Exactly.
15 seconds in round number 1.
And Davis responds.
And there's the bell. And Lopez, the combined record of his first 3 opponents, 0-13. It's not pretty, but you can't judge it by the record because Stephen Davis is 1-7-1, and you would think the same. But this is a guy who is a significant step up from Lopez's first 3 opponents, and we can't stress that enough.
Without a doubt. And, he's the first one to make it out of the first round. He, as I mentioned, he got a little aggressive towards the end, so it'll be good to see how this round plays out. If he continues to be aggressive or if he kind of is back on the back foot.
Round 2, this one's scheduled for 4. It's our opening bout here at Road Wars 5. We thank everybody for joining us on Boxing TV. Michael Parenti, Mariano Agmi. Bringing you the action live from the Park Theater in Cranston, Rhode Island. Lopez in the silver and white trunks. Davis in the black. Nice body work there by Lopez. Goes back upstairs.
And you see Lopez has a Cuban flag on his trunks, and if he's part of that Cuban school of boxing, they're always very technically proficient. Not always as aggressive, but it looks like Lopez has enough aggression here where he's trying to get the knockout.
For every 1 punch Davis throws, Lopez throws 4 or 5, and volume always matters in the eyes of judges. You do have to land, but volume always works. The more you throw, the more opportunity to land.
Bit of a chess match now where they're both waiting to see who's going to make the first move so they can counter.
.90 seconds to go here in round 2. Lopez still working on that timing. And Davis is a pretty orthodox fighter. He's not one of those awkward style fighters that you face early in your career. Big swinging, looping right hook there, misses wildly by Davis. But occasionally he unloads one like that. Every now and then it keeps you on your toes, and that's what Lopez has to do, is not get lulled into any false sense of security. Keep the guard up.
And Mike, as you were saying, a lot of these young guys in the beginning of their career, they're not meant to lose, right? So you're developing them. But it is an art form to develop these fighters. So you want to give them different looks. You want to give them different, maybe different height, different reach. Just give them some adversity so that they're learning on the job for when they do take that step up and then they're in 50-50 fights.
A lot of the great matchmakers in history, the Bruce Tramplers, Johnny Boz, Russell Peltz will tell you the same thing. It's a progression. It really is, like you said, an art form to bring up a young fighter to get him or her to 8-0, 9-0, 10-0, with each fight being a little tougher than the last one.
Exactly.
Nice action here by Davis. Momentarily has Lopez backed into the corner. Lopez is getting some work here. This is the most work he's had as a pro.
Yeah, he's in against a savvy guy who, as I mentioned earlier, maybe switches his stance. He's letting his hands go, so...
And once Davis starts to pick up the pace, Lopez responds. Nice straight right hand there. So Lopez has been up for the task. And there's the bell for round number 2. So again, another
CES would like to thank our friend Arthur
Lopez,
Pimer
and
and Express Printing, located in Fall River.
And this is what you want to see is a guy who's on the B side who actually came to win, came to fight.
One thing about Davis, as we mentioned, he's not a candidate to get stopped early or even often in a fight. And he's giving Lopez some work here. You see some of the replay action. Davis working the body there nicely. Good 4 or 5 punch flurry there by Davis, and Lopez responded nicely to close out the round. So again, he's getting some work. He's getting tested. He's getting pushed more than he has. And really, this is a good opportunity here for Lopez. Now, he did fight for CES as an amateur. In fact, he was a participant in the Jimmy Birchfield Invitational. And so he has experience on this platform, but now things obviously change. The lights get a little bit brighter as a pro, and so we'll see how Davis's career progresses, or rather Lopez's career progresses. But pretty good start here, pretty solid first couple of rounds. We're halfway through this opening bout, and here we go with the bell for round number 3.
And Mike, speaking of the Jimmy Birchfield Classic Invitational, it's a great experience for a lot of these amateur fighters who are able to compete on the same day as professional fighters that they look up to oftentimes, and they get to do it in in a variety of venues, from Mohegan Sun Arena to Foxwoods and to Lowell Memorial Auditorium, etc. So it's great preparation for when they're in the spotlight themselves as professionals, as Axel Lopez is.
No, I think you're right, and it's a great opportunity to watch from afar, learn what it takes to be a pro in and outside of the ring, which are two entirely different things. And a lot of the young fighters can do that by emulating what they see from their older counterparts. Round 3 of a schedule 4. Once again, Michael Parenti, Mariano Agmi bringing you the action here on Boxing TV.
Axel Lopez is staying very disciplined behind that jab. He's varying it to the head and body.
That jab setting up the right hand for Lopez.
And if you're Davis, what you want to do is throw with him and see if you can catch him off guard with one of those shots.
And again, we mentioned Davis is not a high-volume puncher, and that's probably how he survived as a pro and not getting stopped or not getting knocked out, is he's not willing to or necessarily get into the kind of phone booth type of fight where guys can get caught. And Davis doesn't really do that all that often, so he gets through 4 rounds. He gets through 6 rounds. He lives to fight another day.
Yep. He's making a living off of it, right?
And he sure does.
Yeah.
But at the same time, gives your prospects work.
Definitely.
And that's what he's doing here for Axel Lopez. Ken Lopez training out of the Bernardo Boxing Academy in Fall River, Massachusetts. Making the trip here to Rhode Island tonight. Everybody digging out from that blizzard on Monday. And we're hoping you're safe and warm tonight on Saturday night. Oof. Final minute here of round number 3. Every so often, Davis slips in a stiff jab, keeps Lopez on his toes. Nice left there on the break by Davis.
Yeah, he really is trying to catch him off guard after Lopez finishes his attack.
He's still making him work. Every so often when you think that Lopez is really starting to take over the fight and build some momentum and some combinations, Davis sneaks a couple shots in there and forces Lopez to adjust mid-round. It's been a good learning lesson here as we get to the final bell of round 3.
Nice counter right hand from Lopez.
Great job there by Lopez at the bell. 3 rounds in the books here of a scheduled 4-round lightweight bout here at Road Wars 5. And Mariano, take a look here at some of the replay action.
You see the fight is
Wading into the deep waters for the first time as a pro as he goes into the 4th and final round of a fight. Nothing like having to sweat out the scorecards for the first time as a pro. Now, he probably won't have to sweat this one out, but in theory, the first time going to the cards and waiting for that judge's decision. And listen, we've seen some crazy ones in the past, so never count anything out.
You never know in boxing.
And here we go for the 4th and final round. Referee Joey Lupino drawing the assignment for this first bout of the night. And again, we'll just give you a quick reset here. Axel Lopez from Fall River in the silver and white trunks. Stephen Davis from Brockton, Mass. in the black trunks. An all-Massachusetts battle here in our opening bout on Boxing TV, Road Wars 5. Another outstanding fight card here from CES Boxing, the leaders in New England.
And Mike, it'll be interesting to see here if Lopez wants to go for the knockout as they start to trade here, or
Davis might be going for that knockout too.
Or if he's going to keep his composure. And it looks like he is trying to get his 4th knockout in a row.
Yeah, Lopez pick up the pace here a little bit. Davis trying to counter. The action getting a little chippy here in this 4th and final round. I think there's some pressure too to always want to close out the show.
Oh yeah. And this is it. This is your chance to make your final statement. Nice body work there.
If you remember, years
Lopez.
ago, Ty Brunson from Philadelphia had that long first-round knockout streak. And there's always some pressure as he got deeper into that streak. And I don't remember how long the streak
It's like
lasted
19.
for. Maybe 19, 20
Yeah.
fights of knocking out all of his opponents in the first round. It's like a home run streak. It's like chasing a home run record in baseball.
Yeah.
There's inherent pressure as you go further along.
Yeah, it gets harder and harder to do it. And you're also sacrificing the rounds where you're not gaining as much experience as you could because everything is ending so quickly.
This is the kind of fight, and again, as we mentioned, Lopez learning a lot more on the job tonight than he did in his first 3 fights. There's no question about that. I'm sure the camp will have a chance to go back to the drawing board after this one and see what worked, see what might need a little of improvement. But so far, it's been a very good effort from Davis and a strong performance from Lopez, who's simply been the aggressor tonight in this fight. One thing, too, Mario, that I always like to look for with young fighters is how they cut off the ring when an opponent is circling. And I think Lopez has done a nice job of that
I think
tonight.
he's done a pretty good job, yeah, especially 3 fights in. This is his 4th fight. He's done a pretty good job of trapping Davis.
Which isn't to say that Davis has tried to run, but at times when Davis has backpedaled, Lopez has been able to cut off the angle and keep him engaged.
Yeah.
That's sometimes something that fighters don't learn that early in their career. 45 seconds to go. Lopez trying to put the finishing touches on, by all accounts, what will likely be win number 4 once we go to the cards, if we get to the cards. Lopez still trying to land some combinations. Davis with one last surge, lands a nice left at the bell, but
too little too late.
Will probably be too little too late, but a spirited effort. Once again, Stephen Davis coming in and giving you a show, and Axel Lopez looked pretty sharp here tonight, Mariano.
Yeah, look, good performance. I would have been very impressed if he stopped Davis because he's only been stopped once, but I felt that Axel Lopez was very disciplined. He used his jab well. He cut off the ring well, as you mentioned, and he varied his punches to the body and head. So overall, good performance from Axel Lopez.
No doubt Lopez came in with the game plan, understanding the kind of opponent that Davis is, and knowing that Davis is not the kind of guy that you're going to get out there with a couple of shots. I think that leads to perhaps more of a reserved game plan coming in and looking at this as an opportunity to get those rounds that he needed, which isn't to say that you're trying to carry anybody. That's a dangerous thing to do in boxing. But he took what the opponent gave him. He came forward the whole night. He was aggressive. And by all accounts tonight, win number 4, and I was impressed with what I saw for the first time.
Yeah, for sure. And he switched things up a bit. There were times when, Davis had him against the ropes, and Axel was able to kind of show a different dimension. Fought well off of that, was able to turn things around, and I think he dominated the fight.
I think Lopez, in the end, faced just enough adversity, but comes through swimmingly. And we'll see what the final tally is. With that in mind, we're going to send it back up to the center of the ring with our announcer, Adam Palazzo, who has the decision.
Fight fans, after 4 tough rounds, we go to the scorecards. All 3 judges, Apici, Scunzio, and Ezzo, score the fight 40-36 for your winner by unanimous decision, Axel Lopez.
Welcome back, fight fans, to the historic Park Theater in Cranston, Rhode Island. Once again, Michael Parenti joined by Mariano Agmi, bringing you all the action here live on Boxing TV. Making his way to the ring right now, Jacob Foley, making his professional debut from Portage, Michigan. We've seen a few fighters coming in from Michigan lately trying to find some work, and New England's been a nice destination. We don't know much about Jacob, but we're about to find out real soon.
Let's welcome his opponent to the ring, Nicholas Pecora.
And now coming in from Fairfield, Connecticut, Nicholas Pecora. 1 fight under his belt. Did not go according to plan. He was actually stopped in that bout by veteran Saul Almeida, who actually a seasoned MMA pro. A very surprising decision, a very surprising outcome in that fight. So for Pecora and his camp, the 25-year-old right-hander looking to get back on track tonight against Jacob Foley. It's a very big fight. You want to get that first W. There's a lot of pressure, and I'm sure coming off that loss, which was not that long ago, it was in November, he's been itching to get back in the ring, and now he's got his chance tonight.
Mike, they call him Bricks, so I'm hoping to see if he's got a lot of power.
We'll see if he's got those hard hands. Let's send it up to Adam Palazzo, our ring announcer, for the official introduction.
The following fight is scheduled for 4 rounds in the light heavyweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the black trunks. He weighed in at 185 pounds. Tonight, he makes his pro debut, hailing from Portage, Michigan. Ladies and gentlemen, Jacob Foley. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the red and black trunks. He weighed in at 182 pounds. Tonight, he fights in his second pro fight. Hailing from Fairfield, Connecticut, ladies and gentlemen, Nicholas Bricks Pecora. The referee for this bout is Mr. Joey Lapino.
Okay, 4 rounds in the light heavyweight division. Jacob Foley from Michigan making his pro debut against Nicholas Pecora. Pecora in the red and black trunks, Foley in the black. Now Pecora, 25 years old from Fairfield, Connecticut. He's co-managed by Mike Reyes and Tommy Smalls. Tommy Smalls working the corner tonight. Foley comes right out swinging. Very awkward style of punching here. Foley throwing straight from the hip, leaving the entire upper body open as Pecora tries to come straight forward with the right hand. Very awkward style here, Mariano.
Yeah, right away you can see that Foley doesn't move his head. So he's going to come in all action, and he's wide open for a counter.
If you're Pecora, just take your time and see what Foley throws and try to find that opening. But like you said, does not have a lot of head movement on the part of Jacob Foley. Keeps those hands very low and throws all of his punches from the hip. Almost like a makeshift uppercut.
And he just got caught in right hand to
Foley
the head.
turns his back after catching a right hand, and down he goes. Just 45 seconds into round number 1, and it looks like Foley has a shoulder injury. He's hurting that. He's holding that left shoulder. That's going to do it.
That's going to be it.
Joey Lapino calls it off. Jacob Foley, it appears, suffered an injury here in round 1. We'll have to take a look at the replay and see how that went down. Did he injure himself throwing a punch, or did he get hit? That's the question, but at the end of the day, it's going to go down as a victory for Pecora, who finally gets win number 1 as a pro. Here's the replay, Mariano. Try to see if we can get a glimpse of what happened here. That was a good right hand.
Yeah, you know, they were trading shots, and all of a sudden he started grabbing his shoulder. Looks like he might have dislocated that shoulder.
That's a very strong possibility. He did eat a solid right hook
Yeah.
from Pecora before he went down, and when he went down, he was grabbing that left shoulder with the right glove. Joey Lapino gave a count and then immediately stopped the fight. Ringside physician Dr. Peter de Blasio checking in on the action as well. And we'll get that final verdict. But at the end of the day, Nicholas Pecora finally getting win number 1 after suffering a defeat in his pro debut in November. Congratulations to him.
And you know, Mike, it's a shame because it looked like there was going to be an action fight.
There was some hearty exchanges there early. Foley came in there with a very awkward style. I think it caught Pecora off guard for the first 10-15 seconds of the fight, and then Pecora got his footing down, landed that big right cross. Foley went down with the shoulder injury, and that's all she wrote. Let's send it up to our ring announcer, Adam Palazzo, with the particulars.
"57 seconds into round number 1 by knockout, Nicholas Bricks Pecora."
Nicholas, this was your first pro victory. How does it feel?
Feels good. I wish it came out a different way, but I want to give props to my opponent for taking this on short notice. So,
Well, a win's a win, and now you have a win on your professional record, so I'm sure that feels great. What do you think that the fight fans out here can learn from you going forward?
that I'm going to be coming back even harder, and definitely it's going to be better than this one right here.
You want to thank any of your supporters that came out tonight?
Oh. Thank you, everybody that came out, my fans, my family, my team, Eric, Tommy, Chris, Xavier, and thanks CES and Jimmy Birchfield for giving me a shot.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner by first round knockout in his first professional win, Nicholas Pecora!
Fight fans, welcome back to Boxing TV. Welcome back to Road Wars 5, live from the historic Park Theater in Cranston, Rhode Island. Once again, Michael Parenti joined by Mariano Agmi. And we are on to bout number 3, 6 rounds in the super lightweight division. And here is David Minter from Ventura, California. Very interesting story that we'll get into momentarily. Minter coming in from the first time since April of 2025, so a bit of a layoff. We'll see if that rust is.
And his opponent, making his way to the ring, Keon Dugan.
Keon Dugan all the way from Ireland, but he has been taking up residency lately in New England, where he's had all 5 of his pro bouts. In fact, he has made quite the steady climb in a short amount of time since the last time we saw him. In fact, that was his professional debut with CES. That was in September in Lowell, Massachusetts. He won that fight by 3rd round knockout over Stephen Farrar. And since then, he's been on a very impressive win streak. This will be his 6th fight in the last 5 months. All of them have been in New England, as you mentioned. You see his team making his way to the ring, trained by Jay Kelly, former pro from Massachusetts, the son of manager Danny Kelly. Last time Keon was in the ring was in February, on Valentine's Day to be exact, against Joe Wilson Jr. of Connecticut. He won that fight by unanimous decision. Very exciting Irish prospect and making another big step-up fight here tonight. Let's set it up to Adam Palazzo for the official introductions.
The following bout is scheduled for 6 rounds in the super lightweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the black and white trunks. He weighed in at 145 pounds. His pro record, 4 wins, 8 losses, with 3 big victories coming by way of knockout. Hailing from Sacramento, California, ladies and gentlemen, David Minter. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the white, green, and orange trunks. He weighed in at 142 pounds. His pro record, perfect. 5 wins, no losses, with 4 big victories coming by way of knockout. Hailing from Dublin, Ireland, ladies and gentlemen, Keon Dugan. Your referee for this fight is Joey Lapito.
Quick look here at the tail of the tape between Keon Dugan and David Minter. Both guys coming in just under the welterweight limit of 147. Dugan trying to make it 6-0. Just 23 years of age. 20 years his senior, by the way, to his opponent, David Minter. Now, Minter's a very interesting prospect. Minter was supposed to make his pro debut a long time ago. He suffered bad injuries in a motorcycle accident in the Philippines 9 years before his actual pro debut. Suffered broken arms, had kidney failure at one point, almost had to have a leg amputated. Nonetheless, Minter made his pro debut much, much later in life, debuted at 36 years of age instead of in his mid-20s. But here he is still going, and Minter had said in interviews in the past that he planned to fight into his 40s, and here he is at 43, still going, 12 fights into his career. And again, another tough fighter who comes in here. He's upset-minded, has the ability to turn a fight around quickly. Should be a very tough test for Keon Dugan.
Yeah, Mike, and he doesn't look like he's in his mid-40s here. Keon Dugan, as you mentioned, very busy fighter, the most busy Irish fighter probably at this point with his 6 fights in 5 months. And he said that he was more of a counterpuncher before, but ever since he spent more time in the United States with all these different American looks, he's become more aggressive.
Dugan has that prototypical big amateur background. Had a little time off between his last amateur fight and his pro fight. It was about 3 months or so, but he's made up for the lost time as a pro. Again, as we mentioned, 6 fights over the last 5 months. And you're seeing some of that counterpunch in there because Mitch has been very aggressive, but Dugan looks pretty sharp nonetheless.
Yeah, I expect that over the course of the fight, Keon Dugan is gonna pick David Minter apart with those counter shots. He throws some nice short shots. He likes to go to the body, and he likes to throw that left uppercut.
Minter, as we mentioned, last fought in April of 2025 as he loses his balance there. A nice right hand by Dugan. He suffered the loss in that fight. That was in Long Beach, California, not too far from his hometown of Ventura. Making a much longer trip out here tonight, coast to coast here in Rhode Island for the first time. Minter very active, but not a lot of his shots are landing. And Dugan's showing very good patience and poise at 23 years of age.
Yeah, Minter looks like he's expending a lot of nervous energy in the first round, while Kian Dugan is being a little bit more composed, a little more strategic in his offense.
Once again, you're watching us live on Boxing TV. Final 30 seconds of round one in this bout between Kian Dugan in the Irish-colored trunks and David Minter in the black and white trunks. This one is scheduled for 6 rounds. And Dugan doing a nice job really picking apart Minter here in the later half of this round.
Dugan digging some shots to the body.
And there's the bell for round one. Very awkward style for Minter. It's hard to describe. He throws 2-3 punches. It almost looks like he's turning away from his opponent and then he charges back in. Take a look at some of the replay action. He seems to just throw punches in bursts.
Yeah, Mike, it kind of reminds you of Emmanuel Augustus, the drunken master.
Yes.
In his approach, throws a punch, walks away, throws another punch, and he tries to catch you off guard.
Yeah, that's a terrific comparison, I think, and you see some of that showmanship there by Minter. Not a lot landing, but he throws punches from different angles, sometimes awkward angles. Kian Dugan doing a nice job. This is actually a very good test for him when you think about being in pro fight number 6. Last time out, he faced Joe Wilson Jr., who is more of a straightforward fighter who's really there to be picked apart. Wilson does not move around the ring as well as he did earlier in his career, and that was an opportunity for Dugan to get a lot of work in there, to get the rounds, and really just tee off on an opponent, which he did. Minter offers a little bit more of an awkward style, but it's a good opportunity for him to adjust mid-fight. Not a lot of film available on guys like David Minter, so when you come in here, sometimes it takes a round to feel things out.
Yeah, he's got a bit of a frenetic, herky-jerky style, and
Yes.
what I'm concerned about here, and you're always concerned when you see a southpaw and an orthodox fighter, is that they might clash heads, and here they've come close a few times already.
Minter switching up a bit too between southpaw and orthodox. Good left hand there by Dugan. Dugan going to the body. Minter does come into this fight on a little bit of a losing streak. He's lost his last 4, 3 of them by knockout. Last time he got a win was in 2024. Traveled to Colombia to pick up that W.
And Mike, before this fight, I asked Dugan whether he had any Irish idols that he looked up to as he was coming up. But he actually told me, because he's a southpaw, the 2 guys that he admired the most in boxing have been Manny Pacquiao when he was a younger guy, and then Vasil Lomachenko, 2 of the best southpaws in the world. The only southpaw that he actually would mention from Ireland is Conor McGregor, of course, MMA fighter, but he only lived like 20 minutes away from his house. So that was his that was the one guy that he referenced.
And those aren't bad guys to model your style after. You take McGregor's showmanship, take the boxing lessons on the other side. You got yourself the prototypical fighter. Minter complaining about some shots to the back of the head. 1:16 to go in round number 2.
Dugan sticking the jab really well. And I think being composed is very important in this fight for Kian Dugan, because Minter is going to just he's like a bull in a china shop, right? He's going to rush through every once in a while, so you need to be prepared for that pivot and land a counter shot.
It is tough to put together a lot of punches against a guy like Minter, who moves a lot. He's moving different. He comes back. He circles back around the other direction. He's not really giving you any sort of pattern that you can pick up on in terms of movement. And again, it's that Emmanuel Augustus style that you mentioned. Good left hand there by Dugan. Now another straight overhand left. Minter hanging tough. Dugan trying to get that timing down. Again, there is Minter charging in with some little short lefts and rights, throwing those punches and bursts, and then he gets back out of there. And there's the bell for round 2. So good work so far by Kian Dugan. What could we expect to see more of, or what would you like to see more of from Dugan going forward here in this fight?
Well, you know, Mike, I like that he's being patient. I'd like to see him dig to the body a little bit more. He's doing that to an extent, and I'd like to see him catching Minter after Minter rushes. So, you know, pivoting away from the offense and then catching him afterwards when he's off.
So here we go, round number 3. This one again scheduled for 6 in the super lightweight division. Kian Dugan in the white, green, and orange Irish colored trunks, taking on David Minter from California in the black and white trunks. And so far, Dugan looking sharp through 2 rounds, picking up that awkward style of David Minter, making his adjustments as he moves along. And we'll see again, this is the progression of a young fighter and how they adjust to an awkward fighter and someone they've never seen before. And these are the rounds where you start to see them pick things up a little bit.
Yeah, and you can see here that that Kian Dugan is now, he looks determined to finish this fight. He's throwing with a little bit more, a little bit more behind those shots.
Michael Parenti, Mariano Agmi, once again bringing you the action on Boxing TV. We're live at Road Wars 5, presented by CES Boxing on Boxing TV. We thank you for spending your Saturday night with us. And that was a great comparison you made, that bull in a china shop reference about David Minter. That's the exact style that you see. He just continues to lower that head and burrow forward, throw 2-3 punches. He gets out, eats a right hand there, but he's still coming forward.
Yeah, Dugan now circling, boxing really well. You see he's blindsiding him every once in a while because of the way he's pivoting out of Minter's eye.
Nice nice 3-punch combination there by Dugan. Had the best flurry that he's landed in this fight so far. And now it's Dugan, as you mentioned, using his footwork to his advantage.
And what Dugan likes to do is trap you against the ropes and then really dig into the body. That's how he won his pro debut, and that's what he's trying to do here.
And there's that work to the body that you mentioned between rounds, Mariano. Dugan's starting to pick up that pace a little bit. Continuously changing levels on Minter.
And you can see a nice variety in Dugan's arsenal there. He's throwing some good uppercuts. He's landing the jab. He's digging hooks to the body. A little bit of everything. 1
minute to go here in round number 3. We're almost halfway through this bout, scheduled for 6 rounds in the super lightweight division. And you're watching one of Ireland's finest, Kian Dugan, going for win number 6 in his 6th fight. Nice stiff jab there. Suddenly Minter is starting to walk into some of these shots. It appears that maybe Dugan's picked up a little bit of a pattern on the movement by Minter.
Yeah, and I have a feeling like Minter is running out of ideas.
Yeah.
Nice jab. Beautiful throw.
Nice 4-punch combination there. That body work sends Minter down to 1 knee. And that's going to do it. Referee Joey Lupino waves it off, and Kian Dugan in the closing seconds of round number 3 gets the knockout victory. Beautiful 3-punch combination. We'll see the replay momentarily. What a great way to finish it off by Kian Dugan.
Without a doubt, he made a statement here against a fighter who was pretty tricky, unorthodox. Here we see the replay. It started with a very sharp jab, actually, and from there he just went to work, landed a straight left hand, right hook to the body, and down goes Minter.
I think again it comes down to the timing. Kian Dugan picking up on what David Minter was bringing to the table. He finally got that timing down, and then landed 2 very nice combinations in that round. The second one was what did the trick and knocked out Minter for good. So a great performance, poise and patience from Kian Dugan, and it leads to another big victory tonight. Dugan will go to 6-0. Another impressive performance, and with that, we're going to send it back up to our ring announcer, Adam Palazzo, with the particulars.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, 2 minutes, 52 seconds into round number 3 by knockout, and still undefeated, Keon Dugan.
All right, fight fans, I'm here with your winner, still undefeated. Kean, not only are you still undefeated, that was your 6th pro win in 6 months. That's about as active as I've ever seen a pro boxer. You made your pro debut here with CES Boxing, now your 6th win. What makes this so special?
Doing in front of all my great friends in Boston. And a big shout out to my mother and all my family back home.
Now, being as active as you are, is this something that you want to continue with your career? Just keep fighting every month?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, until we get to the world level, you can't fight every 2 weeks. But until we get there, I'll be fighting us up and I can. Big thanks to Jay Kelly. He's made me the boxer I am today. Trained him the last 2 years and my level's gotten there up to.
Now, what is it about Kean why he can fight as often as he does? I mean, fighting 6 times in 6 months is incredible. What about him makes it be able to fight so often?
He hasn't taken a lot of punishment. The last fight, he barely got hit, you know, so it prepared him perfectly for this one to have done the 6 rounds, the full 6 rounds 2 weeks ago.
Well, once we get President Jimmy Birchfield, Sr. of Classic Entertainment and Sports.
We have our host mayor here from Cranston, who is 100% Irish, and we're going to call him up here to take a picture with you. And we have our governor of the state of Rhode Island here that's Irish. We're going to call him in here to take a picture with you. Governor.
All right, fight fans, let's hear it for your winner and still undefeated, Kean Dugan!
This girl, she has the style, she gets the power.
I'm Amelia Moore, world-ranked professional boxer. New England doesn't build soft fighters.
And that is it. That is all she wrote.
I grew up here, made in the cold mornings, empty gyms, and long winters.
She got her pinned up in the corner again.
Boxing for Team USA took me around the world.
And there goes that right hand.
Working the body now.
March 28th, I fight for the NABF interim title. This isn't just another fight.
One of the bigger questions for this Boston squad is what can Amelia Moore do for an encore?
This is my next step towards a world title.
Hey, see, this could be the turning point of the event.
This could be it. I know Boston is counting on these points.
Scan the QR code. Use promo code MORE. Choose your seats. See you March 28th.
Let's welcome our next fighter to the ring. Ladies and gentlemen, Catriel Young.
Welcome back, fight fans, and thank you for joining us again throughout the night here on Boxing TV. We move on to the super middleweight division, 4 rounds. Catriel Young and Tom Evans. We got a lot to tell you about both of these fighters, but first, making his way to the ring, Catriel Young from Kalamazoo, Michigan, comes in 1-5, 1 win by knockout. 26-year-old right-hander. Last time we saw him was at Mohegan Sun in November. He lost to Tyler Macari, another young and up-and-coming prospect with CES. Every time he's lost, he's been stopped. So this is an opportunity here for Thomas Evans tonight to try to get him out of here quickly. He is coming in on a 2-fight losing streak. Last one was in December of 2024 in Detroit. Coincidentally, he was here at the Park Theater earlier this month with his teammate Elijah Hassman, fought Tyler Macari, the same fighter that he fought in November, and we had an opportunity to get a little bit of an impromptu stare down between he and Tom Evans in the center of the ring, kind of built some suspense for this fight, and building some suspense. And here comes Young finally making his way inside the ring. Should be a very interesting one.
And his opponent making his way to the ring, Thomas Evans.
And listen to that ovation for Tom Evans, Rhode Island's own, making his professional boxing debut after a long career in Muay Thai and mixed martial arts. So much to unpack about Tom Evans and why he's here, Mariano. Tell us a little bit about Evans' journey and what brings him into the ring tonight.
Well, he's even more busy than Kean Dugan, which we saw earlier today. He sits on the board of his school's district. He's a police officer based out of North Providence. He's married with 3 kids. and he's working on his master's degree in criminal justice. So
Wow.
he does a little bit of everything. But tonight, it's all about the kids. He's raising money for a baseball program and an inaugural softball program. 150 kids are from ages 4 to 15 are about to register for the summer season in the next couple of weeks.
Thomas Evans has a long history with CES and promoter Jimmy Birchfield. Of course, all of his previous bouts were in the cage with CES as part of the MMA division, and now making the transition to pro boxing. And he's got one of the best minds in New England boxing in his corner in Peter Manfredo Sr. We'll see how it all plays out. Let's send it back to our ring announcer, Adam Palazzo, for the official introduction.
The following bout is scheduled for 4 rounds in the super middleweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the black and silver trunks. He weighed in at 168 pounds. Tonight, he fights in his 7th pro fight, hailing from Kalamazoo, Michigan. Ladies and gentlemen, Catriel Young. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the gold trunks. He weighed in at 168 pounds. Tonight, he makes his pro boxing debut. Hailing from Central Falls, Rhode Island, ladies and gentlemen, Captain America, Thomas Evans.
And here we go, round number 1 of a scheduled 4-round bout in the super middleweight division about to get underway. Thomas Evans in the gold trunks taking on Catriel Young in the black trunks with the silver lining. Very interesting dynamic here with Evans, the MMA fighter, making the transition to boxing, and you wonder what goes through the mind of the opponent. Does he think that this is possibly an opportunity for him to get a victory against a less experienced boxer, but nonetheless a fighter in Thomas Evans?
Yeah, and Mike, usually when you see a guy in his 20s and against a guy in his late 30s, the guy in his 20s is the favored guy, the prospect coming up. But in this case, you have Thomas Evans, who is obviously the favorite. But we do need to keep in mind that he's fighting for the first time in 6 years. But
looks pretty sharp here. Evans looks like no sign of rust as he goes after Catriel Young. Rights and lefts upstairs into the body. Digging that right hand to the rib cage. This is going to be a very awkward style fight here as long as it lasts, because Catriel Young just kind of throws those punches at awkward angles, and Thomas Evans looks very poised, very patient. Definitely wants to put on a show for the crowd that he brought to the Park Theater tonight.
And he's not wasting any time tonight,
No.
Tom Evans.
Yeah, it's been 6 years since Evans has fought of any kind. Lands a nice right hand there against Young. Last fight was for CES MMA back in 2020.
He's done a good series of shots there, left and right.
Well, Young is hanging in there. He's taking the best of what Evans has to throw so far as we're halfway through round number 1.
And Mike, Tom Evans was explaining to me that because he's 38 and he's coming back after such a long layoff, he's training for an 8-round fight, even though this is a 4-round fight, because conditioning was something that's very top of mind for him. He knows he's in against a guy who has 6 fights under his belt, whereas Tom Evans is making his pro debut.
Oh, it's worth noting MMA fights are 5-minute rounds, typically 3 5-minute rounds, unless it's a championship fight, then it's 5 5-minute rounds. So different style of pacing to get through a round. You have 2 extra minutes that you don't have in boxing. Evans definitely trying to land that home run shot against Young. Misses wildly with the right hand.
And one thing that was dangerous about the way this fight started is Evans threw a lot of punches early on. So hopefully he's not too winded here as the fight progresses.
Oof. Young just tackles Evans into the corner. Obviously not a knockdown. Joey Lupino warning both sides.
Mike, that was a bit of an MMA move, right?
It looks like Catriel Young may have the MMA background there. shooting for that double leg takedown.
Absolutely.
24 seconds to go here in round number 1. Again, this one is scheduled for 4. Evans in the gold trunks. And
Nice
now
right
he's
hand
got
from
Young
Evans.
against the corner, against the ropes rather, but Young fights out. Nice right hand there by Young. Oh, Evans at the bell. He did land one after that one. Joe Lupino gives him a warning. So very interesting opening round here between Thomas Evans and Catriel Young. Take a look at some of the replay action here.
As you can see, Evans came out swinging. He wanted to end this fight nice and early for all of his fans, including a lot of the kids that came to watch him tonight.
And again, Evans doesn't have that boxing acumen, that same experience, but looks sharp thus far.
Yep.
It certainly looks the part.
Yeah, look, trained by Peter Manfredo Sr., who, we talked about Peter Manfredo obviously developing his son to a world title shot earlier, but he trained a lot of other guys too. You got Toka Khan Clary, Edwin La Bomba Rodriguez, and Shalito's way, right? Shelly Vincent is now a Hall of Famer.
And also the interesting thing about Peter Manfredo was he was also a pro boxer and a pro kickboxer, so he understands that style, that Muay Thai style, and knows how to work with a fighter like Tom Evans, who has experience in all disciplines.
Right, and transitioning right from kickboxing to
Absolutely.
boxing.
Evans in the gold trunks, Catriel Young in the black. This one's scheduled for 4 in the super middleweight division. Thomas Evans making his long-awaited professional boxing debut after a successful MMA and Muay Thai career.
And Mike, if you're Catriel Young, you want to start your offense here. This is one of the few times where it's legal to fight with a police officer and actually hit him. So he should take advantage of it if he can.
Get your licks in while you can. Just under 2 minutes to go in round number 2. Evans doing a nice job. He's following through on those punches. He's landing often against Young, piling up points here in round 2. Nice right hand. That one catches Young off guard. And now another aggressive flurry here from Thomas Evans.
Evans digging to the body, and you can see from Catriel Young's midsection, he is soft around the body. He's probably susceptible there.
Evans has that tendency to put that left arm over the back of Young and kind of hold him and land body punches. And surprisingly, Joe Lupino a couple of times has told him to get that glove down. And that may be just kind of a callback to the MMA style.
Yeah.
Where you can clinch in MMA and you're really not supposed to clinch in boxing. And there it is again. Pay attention to that left arm.
As well.
Evans keeps digging to the body, runs into a quick left hand there, but keeps coming forward. .39 seconds to go round 2. Evans just keeps teeing off on Catriel Young, but Young hanging in there.
And Mike, Tom Evans is a really tough guy. He told me that on Monday, he wasn't able to do some interviews because he was actually going to be working from 4 to midnight. It was his last day on the job before he was off for fight week.
Puts in a lot of hours on the job, a lot of hours in the gym. As a father, a coach. It's a heavy workload, and it's really not meant for everybody. Not everybody cut out to work that kind of schedule, but Thomas Evans is doing it. And he just keeps coming forward there, working the body back upstairs. A lot of body work here by Tom Evans in round number 2. The crowd likes it so far. Evans doing a good job here, Mariano. Changing levels, going downstairs, coming back upstairs, back down. Young not really knowing where to more or less keep that defense.
Yeah, and you can see here his conditioning is great. He's throwing a lot of punches. He doesn't seem winded at all. He looks like he's gonna close this fight strong. And I think the key here is to dig to the body. He has been doing that to a degree. I think that's gonna be the way to make a statement and finish the fight.
Evans came in here with the intention of scoring a knockout win. He made no secret about that whatsoever, so he's got 2 more rounds to try to do it. Catriel Young is hanging in there. I'm not sure if the punches and the flurries by Evans are doing a ton of damage in terms of breaking him down, but they're scoring points, and Evans is clearly winning through 2 rounds.
Without a doubt.
And here we go. Ready for round number 3. We got a little bit of a spillage on the canvas. Young's corner, I think, just dumped all the water right there in the middle of the ring.
It's a nice way to gain a few seconds, right? Catch your breath.
Couple of extra seconds there for Catrell Young, and the action resumes here for round number 3. Once again, Michael Parenti and Mariano Agami bringing you the action here. Road Wars 5 presented by CES Boxing. And we're coming at you live from the Park Theater in Cranston, Rhode Island.
And one thing you can see here, Mike, is that the guys are standing right in front of each other. There's not a lot of movement. They're going straight at it. And it looks like Catrell Young came to fight this round.
This is very much a street fight.
Yep.
These two guys just throwing bombs. Not a whole lot of strategy, but Evans is certainly standing up to the test, as is Young.
Young doing his best work in this round so far.
I know you mentioned during the preview of the fight that Evans has been training for an 8-rounder, but of course, sparring rounds different than in-ring rounds.
Yes, they say you can't really get rid of ring rust in the gym, right? It has to happen in the ring.
Evans digging to the body again.
It's just really hard to replicate the environment, right, when it comes to being under the bright lights with the audience and an opponent who's hitting you back with intentions to hurt you.
With bad intentions.
That's right.
Catrell Young coming here to win this fight, no different than Thomas Evans. Evans so far has been the aggressor. He's been the better fighter tonight through 2.5 rounds. So we reached the midway point of round number 3. And Evans has really done his best work to the body. No secret about it. He knows his opponent is a little bit softer on the midsection, and so he's been targeting that area early and often.
I think both fighters are taking a breather at this point in the round.
Nice 2-punch combination there by Evans.
Evans being urged to push forward and throw some shots. And there he goes. And doing some good work there.
Once again, to the body by Thomas Evans. Eventually, those shots add up, and they can break down your opponent. Young standing in there, keeping those elbows tucked close to the midsection. And now you see the warning from Joey Lupino to stop holding the head. I just think it's instinct for Thomas Evans. He's been using that left arm to hold the back of Young's head and then just trying to rip shots to the body while he's got him tied up. 30 seconds to go here in round 3. You're starting to see that fatigue set in for both sides here. Even though the pace has slowed a bit, Evans still doing that best work to the body. Final bell for round 3, another one in the books, another solid round. Good start for Young, better finish for Evans. Here's some replay action.
Yeah, Mike, Evans really letting it go here, throwing shots to the body, sometimes coming back upstairs, doing the best he can. I think he's done some really good work so far for a guy who's making his pro debut. It's not a bad start.
Be interesting to see how the judges scored round 3 if we do get to the scorecards at the end of this fight. It's a very close round. I thought Young had a better start to the round. I thought Evans finished strong. I'd probably still give that round to Evans at the end. I think he's up 3 rounds in this fight, but he could only be up 2 rounds to 1, which now makes round 4 very pivotal for Catrell Young. So never assume what those scorecards say. We'll see if it does get that far what the judges will have. But Evans is doing a very good job here. I think some of the fatigue is starting to set in. The pace has slowed a little bit, but Evans still coming forward, still working the body. And if I'm Evans, I'm doing more of the same here in this round.
And given that the guys are standing right in front of each other, the fight is still up for grabs, right? If anybody lands something big, they could hurt the other.
All it takes is one punch to change the momentum. And here we are, round number 4. Once again, Thomas Evans in the gold trunks taking on Catrell Young in the black trunks. Super middleweight showdown here at Road Wars 5. Live on Boxing TV, Michael Parenti, Mariano Agami bringing you all the action tonight. It's been a good card so far. Evans trying to close this one out in style. Donating all his proceeds tonight to the Central Falls Baseball League.
And Mike, we talked about Evans having fought 6 years ago. In that last fight for CES MMA, he actually used the proceeds of that fight to start the baseball league.
That's right.
And now 6 years later, he's using it to help fund it, which costs something between $25,000 and $30,000 a year, he mentioned. And what they do is they provide everything from registration, equipment, cleats, anything a kid needs for baseball and softball, they provide it. So it's a really great program that they started 6 years ago, and it seems to be growing every year.
Terrific cause for Thomas Evans. Something close to the heart. And once again, Evans, he's got Young against the ropes. Dig into the body. Joey Lupino on top of the action, waiting to see something from K-Trail Young, who's just trying to grab and clinch. Nice right hand upstairs by Evans. 90 seconds to go in the fight.
Evans is earning every single dime of that of that program proceeds. He's really leaving everything in the ring, as you can see here.
Big overhand left by Evans, followed up by the right hand. Young misses, walks into a left hand. Evans looking sharp here to trying to close out this fight in style. Got to give Young a lot of credit. He's taking a lot of shots in this fight, keeps coming at him.
It's been a rough fight for him. He took a lot of punishment to the body and a couple of really good right hands to the head as well.
Thomas Evans, 38 years young, making his pro boxing debut. We don't know for sure if there'll be more, but this has been a good start.
Yeah, I asked him, what's the goal here when it comes to his career, and he said, look, I'm taking it one fight at a time. I know that boxing is an extremely dangerous sport, so he's not looking past tonight.
Leaving the door open for a potential return somewhere down the road. Final 20 seconds. Strong performance by Thomas Evans. Trying to finish off K-Trail Young.
Nice flurry there.
And there's the final bell. Thomas Evans, K-Trail Young. Nice exchange of sportsmanship at the end. Great job by both fighters. They really brought it. No doubt the most entertaining fight we've seen on this card tonight is both fighters just kept going back and forth.
For sure.
Look back here at the action.
You see Evans was really trying to finish the fight. He didn't want it to go to a decision. But Young did, we got to give him credit. He absorbed a lot of punishment tonight. He was able to make it to the final bell.
Young in his 7th fight showed some of that veteran savvy in the ring. Took the best of what Tom Evans had to give him, but I'll tell you what, Evans put on a great performance tonight. Looks like he will pick up the W here. I thought he did a great job. Again, you see these body shots, they just kept ripping to Young throughout the fight, changing levels, really did a nice job. And again, for someone that did not have a strong boxing background, really picked things up quickly under the tutelage of Peter Manfredo Sr., a terrific job. Let's see how it went. We're going to send it up to our ring announcer, Adam Palazzo, who has the decision.
All right, fight fans. After 4 tough rounds, we go to the scorecards. Judge Paolino, Judge Apici, and George Ezzo all scored the fight 40-36 for your winner, Captain America, Thomas Evans.
All right, Cranston, Rhode Island, I'm here with your winner, Thomas Evans. Tommy, I'm going to let you soak all this in here for a second. Tommy, we initially were going to do this as an MMA fight. Traded in the MMA gloves for the bigger boxing gloves here, making your pro boxing debut. Never had any dreams of doing boxing before, always a martial artist. But tonight you're a professional boxer and you're undefeated. How does this feel?
To my wife, Laura, Layla, Julian, Melanie, you're my heart and soul. It's the reason why I keep going in life. Thank you guys. Mom, I know you're up there watching. Dad, I know you're there. Everyone who bought tickets, all my sponsors, Team CES. I started at 17 with this guy right here, Peter Manfredo. I asked him on 4 weeks' notice to come back and help me with a boxing fight. He said, "You're fucking crazy." And I said, "You're right, but I'll do it." And that just shows how much he loves me. We love him. Crew Bill from Hard Knocks. I was training for an MMA fight. I was at his school, his camp for 8 weeks, getting ready. And then we found the news and we said, "It's boxing, it is, let's go." My big brother, I look up to him. He's there every time I need him. He's at my house fixing windows. He's doing whatever I need. Please give Coach Todd a round of applause. To the town of North Providence, I know the mayor's here. Mayor, we love and respect you. To everyone here, I'm donating all this money to this kids at Central Falls baseball. Let them kids play. Let them kids play.
Now, Tommy, I want you to explain a little bit more about that. So all the money, you see it on your shorts here, all the money that you have raised here today is going to go to Central Falls for the baseball and softball. I want you to tell everybody where that money's going, how they can support it.
Venmo at CF Youth Baseball if you want to sponsor us. Guys, it takes $30,000 a year to put these kids on the field. We don't charge any registration fees. We buy them cleats, bats, uniforms, you name it. We do it. These kids deserve the best. And that's what we're here in Central Falls doing, giving our kids the best.
Now, Tommy, last thing I want to talk to you about here. So your introduction song tonight had your mother's voice on it. Now, as a proud mama's boy, as I know you are, that got me with the feeling, so I know that that did with you as well. But I want you to explain to the crowd how special that was to be able to play tribute to her as you walked out for your boxing fight.
My brother, Lydell Hall, I know he's here. Another kid that's always in my corner. I asked him, I said, Lydell, I need something special. I got a book with my mother reading a story to my daughter. It's the last time I heard her voice. Can we do something? And without a doubt, he said, Tom, I got you. And there it is, to hear my mom's voice one more time. That's what it's all about, you know what I mean? That's what it's all about.
I can tell you is that all of us here will surely agree that your mother is surely proud right now, smiling down. And President of CES, Mr. Birchfield, would like to say some words as well.
First of all, is Mayor Rivera here of Central Falls? Please come up here. Come on up here. Let's hear it from Mayor Rivera of Central Falls. Can you help her get, excuse me, all right. I'm sorry. So I just, everything Tom does, he's a special, special person. Okay, you've seen it tonight. This is his first boxing event. He fought for us in MMA and stuff, and this is what he wanted to do, and we did everything. But what he does for the town of North Providence and what he does for Central Falls is amazing. It speaks by itself. And I like Mayor Rivera to maybe say a few words on what she thinks of Tom.
It's an emotional night. I have to tell you that when Thomas reached out because he wanted to start the baseball Little League in the city of Central Falls, that someone, it hadn't been done for many, many years. His mom, Carolyn Evans, was one of the ones who started the Central Falls Youth Baseball League. And I know how much that meant to him. So it was really important for us to make sure we support him. It has only grown year after year. We named the concession stand after his mom. And it's something that we're going to continue supporting him because I know how many kids in our community enjoy being part of the Central Falls Youth Baseball League. It's really important for me. It was really important for me to be here tonight. I know I reached out like 2 hours ago or 3 hours ago, but I'm like, I have to be there. Congratulations. You make us all proud. I know he's a North Providence police officer, but he's a Central Falls warrior.
Stay right. That's beautiful. And you shared some very, very special words on what was named after his mother. And, you know, every day of my life I think of my mother in heaven. So I know that feeling. But when he told me what he wanted to do, it wasn't about money or anything. It was about helping the kids in Central Falls. And Mayor, I know you're honored to have him on our police force in North Providence. And I think after seeing what he can do in the ring, maybe he can be your personal bodyguard, right? So say.
Tom.
Promote him. Yeah, he said promote him.
Tom, we're proud of you. We appreciate what you do for us in town. And you never know. I don't have a driver yet. I've been here 18 years and I didn't have one yet. but you help make us who we are. And I appreciate that. I just want everyone here to know who lives in town. This is the type of people that we got protecting you.
Good.
All right, let's hear it one more time for Captain America, Thomas Evans!
Let's welcome our next fighter to the ring. Ladies and gentlemen, Rodolfo Puentes.
Welcome back, fight fans. Boxing TV, Michael Parenti joined by Mariano Agmi, and we're ready for our co-main event of the evening. And making his way to the ring, Rodolfo Puentes from Colombia comes in with a big record, 21 wins, 16 of them by knockout. 32-year-old right-hander. Tell you what, 36 pro fights at the age of 32. That's a lot of fights. He's got a lot of tread on those tires, but Puentes coming in hard, sturdy veteran. Last fought in October, took the loss against Alexander
And his
Hernandez.
opponent making his way to the ring, Lamont Powell.
And you think about the contrast here, Mariano, as Lamont Powell makes his way to the ring. You've got two fighters the same age, both at 32. One fighter's got 36 fights, one's got 6. Lamont Powell coming in, very long layoff, as we mentioned at the pre-show. First time he's fought since January of 2023, and this is just his second fight since 2019. Mariano, you had a chance to talk to Lamont about the intent behind this comeback and what he wants to do now that he's 32.
Yeah, Mike, I think it's about unfulfilled promise, right? He's a fighter who had a good amateur record, 45-4. He won 3 silver mittens gloves during that time, but he only had 6 professional fights.
The following bout is scheduled for 4 rounds in the middleweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the red and white trunks. He weighed in at 161 pounds. His pro record, 21 victories, 13 defeats, with 16 wins coming by way of knockout. Hailing from Colombia, ladies and gentlemen, Rodolfo Puentes. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the blue, white, and gold trunks. He weighed in at 159 pounds. His pro record, perfect. 6 wins, no losses, with 2 big victories coming by way of knockout. Hailing from Providence, Rhode Island, ladies and gentlemen, Lamont Powell. The man in charge of the action when the bell rings, Mr. Joey Lapido.
So here it is, big opportunity on the table here for Lamont Powell, coming in at 6-0. 2 of those wins by knockout, taking on a very durable veteran in Rodolfo Puentes. And Mariano, as you mentioned, as the bell is about to ring here for round number 1, it's about that potential for Lamont Powell. Even though he's 32, there are not a lot of tread on these tires when you think about it. Only 6 pro fights.
That's right. That's right. And there's a lot of fights that can be made in New England.
Sure.
Between Lamont Powell and the likes of Douglas Marroquin, who was in action a couple of weeks ago, who's also a middleweight, and also James Maynard, who's also 6-0, and it's been a bit inactive. So it'd be good to kind of get that middleweight division heating up in New England.
Oh, and down goes Puentes,
left hand.
and that may be it. I don't think he's going to get up from that one. That's going to do it. 3 years in the making, and Lamont Powell makes quick work of Rodolfo Puentes. Wow, what a finish.
Mike, he fell down really hard. I think he got caught with a counter left hand, a left hook.
Here's the replay.
Ooh, it was a right
Looks
hand.
like a right across the chin on the sweet spot, and Puentes left himself wide open with those wide looping shots. Powell came right in, the counter punch, the knockout, a quick, easy victory for Lamont Powell. Hey, all that work for 3 years, and he gets in there, he gets him out of there. But listen, you don't get paid by the round.
That's for sure, for sure.
So Lamont Powell, successful in his comeback fight. He will improve to 7-0. That's his 3rd win by knockout. And we were just talking about to get into when that last fight was. That was January of 2023. He won that fight by knockout as well against Jerome Clayton in Tampa. Here's one more look at the finish. And is that right? Oh, right on the chin.
Yeah, right on the button. And he fell down so hard that you knew that this fight was over. A great way to come back, and hopefully, didn't take any shots at all. So hopefully he's back again in just a couple of months and tries to make up for lost time.
Powell could come back tomorrow if there's a fight card, if he
Yeah.
really wants to. I mean, he didn't really break a sweat in that fight, but it's a satisfying victory nonetheless. And listen, the comeback trail begins tonight. Lamont Powell, still a long road ahead for him at 32, and a lot left in that body of his. And again, we mentioned not a lot of tread on the tires, and a great opportunity now after getting this victory tonight. Let's send it up to our ring announcer, Adam Palazzo, who has our particulars.
Fight fans, I have one question for you. Are you ready for your main event? Nah, I'll go in the back and have a drink. That wasn't good enough. One more time. Are you ready for your main event? All right then, let's do it. Let's welcome our first fighter to the ring. Ladies and gentlemen, Deonta Williamson.
Steady chorus of boos raining down from the Park Theater in Cranston, Rhode Island as Deonta Williamson makes his way to the ring. One half of our main event here tonight. 6 rounds in the lightweight division. Deonta Williamson coming in from St. Louis, Missouri. A record of 3-6, all 3 wins by knockout. Recently fought in December, making his first appearance of 2026. And a big step up again for Gianni Ligori, the young fighter from Connecticut, who we'll see momentarily. Williamson coming in. He had a really tough start to his pro career. He was fed to the wolves early on against real stiff competition, fighting on the road in Iowa, Kansas, and New York. But since then, he is 3-3 in his last 6 fights after losing his first 3 pro fights. So he's coming with a little bit more momentum on his side, looking to play the role of spoiler tonight.
And his opponent making his way to the ring, Gianni Ligori.
Just 21 years of age from Brantford, Connecticut. Here comes Gianni Ligori in his Rhode Island debut, and for the first time in his pro career, headlining a major fight card. Mariano, we've seen Gianni Ligori make that progress in the ring under the guidance of CES, one of many recent signings by the promotion over the last year. What have you seen from him on a fight-to-fight basis? It looks like he just gets better every time he's in there.
He gets better every time. He was more of a boxer at first, and I think now he's starting to sit down on his punches a bit more. And he represents the future of CES, you know, with guys like Will Gilmet, Tyler McCary, Christian Morrow, and many others. And so we look forward to many years of first development and then hopefully competing at the highest level for guys like Gianni Ligori.
Ligori, just a natural athlete, did it all in high school, wrestled, played baseball, played football, also was a running back and an outside linebacker at Notre Dame High School in West Haven. Took up boxing at a young age, turned pro September of 2024, and again, like we mentioned, and you mentioned too as well, really starting to sit down on those punches. Had a big knockout win in his last fight in November against Alejandro De La Rosa in Connecticut. That was a second-round TKO victory. So now he comes in at 4-0-1, 3 of those wins by knockout, and a big opportunity here tonight on Boxing TV, here at Road Wars 5 in the historic Cranston Park Theater to headline a card and to close the show in style.
Tonight's events have been sanctioned by the Rhode Island Department of Business Regulation, Division of Gaming and Athletics. Beth Dwyer, Director. Pamela Toro, Administrative and Legal Support Service Administrator. Christina Tobias, Gaming and Athletics Administrator. Brian Kutu, Gaming and Athletics Assistant Administrator. Your referee tonight is Joey Lupino. Judges, Kenneth Ezzo, Robert Paolino, Joseph Apici, and Eddie Scunzio. Your physicians ringside are Dr. Peter de Blasio and Dr. David Carpentier. Cranston, Rhode Island, this is your main event. 6 rounds of boxing. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the black and silver trunks. He weighed in at 136 pounds. His pro record, 3 wins, 6 losses, with all 3 victories coming by way of knockout. Hailing from St. Louis, Missouri, ladies and gentlemen, Deontay Tick Tick Williamson. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the silver and black trunks. He weighed in at 139 pounds. His pro record, 4 wins, no losses, and 1 draw, with 3 big victories coming by way of knockout. Hailing from Pompano, Florida, by way of Branford, Connecticut, ladies and gentlemen, Gianni the Ghost Liguri. The man in charge of the action when the bell rings, Mr. Joey Lapino.
Deontay, we went over the rules in the dressing room, okay? Both your trunks are good. Touch them up. Good luck. God bless. Let's go.
Here we go, round 1 of a scheduled 6 in our main event. Lightweight Gianni Liguri in the black and silver trunks taking on Deontay Williamson in the black trunks with the stars and stripes. I feel like I've seen those trunks earlier tonight. Am I mistaken?
They look very familiar.
Perhaps some guys sharing some ring attire backstage, but nonetheless, here we go. Round number 1 about to get underway. Liguri trying to get win number 5, yet to suffer defeat.
And Liguri already landed 2 left hooks.
Some hard shots early from Liguri.
Nice uppercut as well.
You're watching 2 guys with very fast hands. This is where lightning fast speed really plays a factor.
Right hand counter from Liguri. Mike, Liguri looks very sharp, actually.
He really does. This is a terrific start over the first 30 seconds. So he did eat a left hand there, but keeps coming forward. And a nice left hand there by Liguri.
We mentioned Liguri being trained by Stacy McKinley, who's a world-class trainer. So I'm not surprised that he looks this sharp. But what I think he needs to do is make sure he pays attention to defense as well as offense.
Yeah, it's good. It's good timing on your part to mention that because he did eat another shot there as we're talking about just how sharp he looks early on. But he has taken a couple of blows here early on, and perhaps as being the aggressor, he's eating some shots at the same time. You always want to keep the guard up.
And, you know, maybe because he's 21 years old and he's in his first main event, that might have something to do with the fact that he wants to really impress. But
we're looking forward to this one as this fight develops here. We got 2 very fast, 2 skilled, technical fighters going toe-to-toe. Fairly even matchup here despite what the records look like on paper. Big wild right hand there by Williamson. Nice overhand counter by Liguri.
Yeah, what you can see is the differences in technique, right? That's the big difference between these 2 guys, and a lot of that has to do with the coaching, right? You got Stacy McKinley, again, who's well schooled, and he's applying that to Liguri as he develops against a guy who's pretty wild.
Liguri's footwork looks better in this round. He's less inclined to stand toe-to-toe with Williamson here, and instead fight on angles, get those shots, and get out quickly. It seemed he was a little stationary in round 1. It kind of made him a sit-in target for a couple of those shots by Williamson. And that defense a lot sharper here in round 2 for Liguri. Halfway through round 2, Liguri working that jab effectively here in round 2. And trying to go to the body, but Williamson really ducks down low, makes it hard to work the body.
And then he pops up with some big shots, which could catch you by surprise, and he just caught Liguri with the left hook again.
And make no mistake, these two fighters are more or less the same height. Williamson 5'5", Ligori 5'6", but Williamson fights a lot lower to the ground than Ligori. Ligori is a little bit more upright, and so a lot of those body shots are a tendency for Ligori to punch down. Final minute here of round 2. Gianni Ligori in the silver trunks with the black trim. Deontay Williamson in the black and white, the stars and stripes. Referee Joey Lupino on top of the action, calling his 6th fight of the night.
He's
been a busy man tonight.
Thankfully, the fights have been pretty clean all around.
Nice exchange here at the final 15 seconds of round 2. And there's the bell for round 2. Another strong round for Ligori, who I thought, Mariano, looked a lot sharper defensively in this round.
Yeah, he was a bit more patient, more responsible, as you mentioned, and he didn't get hit as much. And he's looking good on offense.
Still very much a long fight that we could be in store for here in this one. This is scheduled for 6 rounds.
And Mike, you can see here the guys are smothering their work a little bit, right? They need to create a little distance. Both of them are kind of doing it. They need to create a little distance so that they can get more done, land more effective shots.
And that's an experience issue too. Sometimes fighters don't know how to properly space out and find that distance and use that jab to keep the opponent at bay, and that opens up more for the overhand rights. And like you mentioned, it's harder to do when the opponent is smothering you, or you're sometimes allowing your opponent to smother you in that regard. And we'll see if Ligori can make that adjustment here in round number 3. Once again, we thank you for joining us tonight here on Boxing TV. Michael Parenti and Mariano Agmi bringing you the action from the Park Theater in Cranston, Rhode Island. Another exceptional fight card by CES Boxing. Road Wars 5, 5th installment of a very popular series, launched in 2022.
And Mike, what I want to see this round is to see whether Ligori can make some adjustments. As you mentioned, Williamson likes to duck down low. I think I saw a right hand chopping down this time around, which looks like he's just trying to adjust to what Williamson's doing and catch him as he's coming back up.
Sometimes a well-placed uppercut can stop that momentum. Certainly catch a fighter like that by surprise. Ligori patient, lands a nice body shot there.
Ooh, nice counter uppercut and right hand.
And Williamson still coming forward, still fighting, still counterpunching. We mentioned the knockout power. All 3 of his wins have been by knockout. 6 combined knockouts between the 2 fighters. Nice body shot there by Ligori. Ligori definitely seems to have gotten Williamson's timing down. He's dodging more punches than he was prior, and now Williamson takes a knee. That's going to be an 8 count.
You know, Mike, that might have been a delayed reaction, but I didn't really see a clean punch land before.
And not sure. We'll have to see the replay there, but Williamson took a knee. He gets the standing 8 count. Looks like he's ready to go. Lupino checking on him, and the action will resume. So it will be scored as a knockdown for Ligori, and perhaps a buildup of those body shots. And maybe Williamson just wanted to take an extra breather.
Yeah.
Final minute of round number 3. Ligori continues to be elusive defensively in this round, picking up where he left off in round number 2. Nice counter right hand there by Ligori. And now he's starting to really pour it on here in the final 33 seconds of round 3.
There's that chopping right hand again. But he has to watch out for that counter left hook. It's landing regularly at this point.
Williamson trying to bait Ligori into that left hook. Every time Williamson ducks down, as you see there again, he's got the head down below the waist. Makes it very hard to work the body, and there is the bell for round number 3. See if we can get a look here at the replay. This is some of the earlier action. We mentioned Williamson took a knee in this round, which will be scored as a knockdown. They're still not quite sure what it was. But nonetheless, Ligori will get a nice clean 10-8 round for his effort there. And as we mentioned, Williamson taking that knee, sitting in the corner with his back to the referee as Joey Lupino hovers over to check on him. It appears he's fine to continue, at least for now. But Ligori really starting to pick things up here, I think, over the last 2 rounds. I've been very impressed with his defense and really taking his time and picking his shots against Williamson and adjusting to that awkward style that Williamson has. And really just taking what his opponent's given him. That's it.
That's it.
That's going to do it. Looks like Williamson's throwing in the towel. The corner has called it, and it's going to be a victory for Gianni Ligori in our main event. So the fight will not continue. A great effort by Gianni Ligori. Williamson no longer can continue, and that will do it.
And Ligori doesn't look very happy at all. He didn't want the fight to end this way.
I think he certainly wanted to continue and was looking forward to it. I think he was starting to learn some things from rounds 1 through 3, and you saw some progression there over the course of those 3 rounds, but Williamson decides he's had enough, and maybe it was the accumulation of those body shots. He did take that knee midway through round 3. That was scored a knockdown. At the end of the day, the corner decides we are through, and Gianni Ligori gets a well-deserved victory.
Absolutely. Look, on offense, I give him an A minus.
Sure.
On defense, I give him maybe a B. He got caught with a couple of left hands, but this is all part of the learning process. He had a guy in front of him who, at least early on, wasn't going to just lay down. Unfortunately, later on, it looks like maybe those right hands to the head and the shots to the body caught up to him.
So we'll take a look here now. We're going to get back to the replay, and we're going to take a look at the knockdown that occurred in round number 3 before Williamson's corner threw in the towel. And we'll see if we can get a quick look at that. It's very strange. I think like you mentioned, maybe a delayed reaction. Here's some of the action here in midway through that round. We'll see if we can kind of pinpoint where it occurs. And it looks like it was right after the break where Lupino broke him up. Maybe a couple of close shots in the corner there.
There is one left to the body. But
yeah. Well, nonetheless, let's send it up to Adam Palazzo with the particulars.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner after the corner retired at the end of the 3rd round by TKO and still undefeated, Gianni the Ghost Ligori.
All right, fight fans, a great night of boxing here by CES and Jimmy Birchfield Sr., capped off by a great performance by Gianni in the main event. Your opponent here came to fight. He was definitely a tough opponent. You broke him down through the first 3 rounds. How do you see the fight going?
Yeah, he was real durable, real strong. He came to fight, but that's exactly what I need to get my experience in and become the world champion that I want to be. So it's all part of the process, part of the path, learning experience. I didn't do the best I could, but like I said, I'm getting better and better.
You are getting better and better, and your fans who support you are seeing you get better and better every time you come out here. Whether you're fighting in Connecticut, Rhode Island, or back home in Florida, I'm sure you feel that love everywhere you go.
Yeah, man, definitely. Everywhere we go, I love my Connecticut people. We take over everywhere we go, and most importantly, I want to thank God for making this possible. Me and my opponent get to come out of here healthy tonight, and I want to thank Jimmy, CES Promotions for putting me in this spot, having me at main event for this card tonight. My team, my coach, my trainers, man, everybody. And thank you all for coming out.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, Gianni Ligori.
So there you have it. Gianni Ligori gets the victory in our main event, improving to 5-0-1, fourth win by knockout. And real quickly, Mariano, I thought Ligori did a nice job tonight against, like he mentioned, a very durable opponent. Took some shots early on in the first round. I thought made some great adjustments over the next two.
I think so also. It looked like he figured things out in that round 3 because he saw Williamson ducking down low, started landing those chopping overhand rights and landing some to the body. I was able to put him away.
So Ligori gets the victory in our main event. Other big story tonight, the long-awaited return of Lamont Powell. Did not last that long, just 23 seconds. He clips his opponent with a big right hand to get the knockout victory. But the big thing after the fight tonight, Powell putting all of New England on notice at 160 pounds. This could be a very big year for him.
And as I mentioned, CES has some good middleweights out there, all undefeated. Douglas Marroquin, you have James Maynard, and now you have Lamont Powell back. So we have some great fights that can be made.
I think you will see a lot more of Gianni Ligori in the near future. You're going to see a lot more of Lamont Powell for sure, and hopefully you'll see a lot more of us. We want to thank everybody who joined us tonight on Boxing TV from the Park Theater for CES Road Wars 5. For Mariano Agmi, I'm Michael Parenti. We will see you next time.
My heart's racing and I'm ready. I'm throwing my fist cause my pace will leave you sweaty. And knowing you miss, my knots cut like a machete. It's blowing the kids, you're rock seeing no confetti.